So we got to talk about this Dodgers Padres. This is like kind of been deemed like a rivalry only to the Padres. Like the Dodgers don't really care about it. Like that seems to be the narrative here. You got Buehler going for San Diego. You got Sasaki going for the Dodgers. Dodgers just seems like they're always going to be a favorite. But this minus 145, feels like if you're looking for a spot to take the Dodgers, I don't know how many times you're going to see a better price on the Dodgers here. Over under 7.5. How do you break this game down?
Well, obviously, like you said, this is a big rivalry, for the Padres. But you know what? It's only June, and I hate to say that. The next 10 games for the Padres really could be their season. They're in second place, chasing the Dodgers, which it seems like that's where they're always at. But you look at them, they trail the Dodgers by 9 games. In the next 10 games, they play the Dodgers 7 times. So obviously, they've got to make up some ground during these next 10 games, or they can forget about, having any shot at the division. The other thing is, sandwiched in between the 2 series against the Dodgers, they play the Cubs. Well, the Cubs are a team that they're chasing in the wild card. They're 2 games behind the Cubs. And if the season ended today for the Padres, they'd miss the playoffs by a half a game. So I can't emphasize how much these 10 games, the importance of them for the Padres. Now, you look at it, and Sasaki goes for the Dodgers. He had 4 starts in a row where he allowed a grand total of 4 runs over 24 innings of work. But however, in his last 2 starts, he's allowed 10 runs in just 9 2/3 innings of work. So a little bit of regression with him. Looks for the Padres to take advantage of that. Walker Buehler, former Dodger, is going to give you 5 innings. You look at all of his starts, and it's like you could just, cookie cutter what you're going to get from him. He's going to give you 5 innings. He's had 8 straight starts where he's allowed 3 runs or less. In the last 4, he's allowed 1 run in each of those. And over those 20 2/3 innings of work, strikeout to walk ratio, a solid 22-5, telling me he's got command of all of his pitchers. Both teams had yesterday off. So if you're looking at a full game wager, no advantage of one bullpen over the other. They're both rested. So all hands will be on deck. But I'm going to look at this one a different way because Sasaki is kind of regressing and we know what we're going to get out of Walker Buehler. I'm going to look at this for a first 5-inning wager. And I'm going to go ahead and take the plus half a run and you can get this at minus 115 to minus 120. And why I think that's value is no matter what, I still always say the Dodgers are going to be overpriced. Even though they seem relatively low tonight, the Padres, seem to rise to the occasion whenever they play the better teams. You're still laying $1.45, $1.50 on the road. I'm going to go ahead and take the Padres first 5. Look for Walker Buehler to give us what he normally does, and I think that'll be enough to get us and cash the ticket here. I think, when one team has an edge like the Dodgers do, the further you go in the game, the bigger that edge becomes. So let's not make it too complicated, guys. Let's go first 5.
Marco, you got a bunch of stuff up for the summer specials. You got the deli. Let's tell us what you got going on at WagerTalk.
Yeah, deli. We will be recording that in the next hour. I got to get my package up for today. It's going to be a 4% National League Game of the Week. Baseball's heating up. Last 30 days, we're top 5 in money won in baseball. Again, the way I handicap, the further I go into a season, the more data I have to work with, the better I am. WNBA, what can I say? It's been a 3-year run, 64%. And guys, I actually enjoy the WNBA. I probably have watched live more WNBA action in the last 5 days than most people have in their lifetime because the Aces have played 3 home games in 5 days, and I've been there for all of them. And, getting to see all of the teams up close and personal. And I know, Andy, you do a lot with the WNBA, and you're like me. You like a lot of player props. This is the most inefficient market that there is, I believe, going right now is the WNBA, because all they do with the props, Andy, is they look at the season average. Okay, doesn't matter the matchup. It's the season average, and this is what it is. We put it up, and maybe we'll juice it a little bit to the over or the under based on the last couple games. But you've got to understand player rotations, coaches' tendencies, and what type of team they are playing. Last night we had a big play on Asia Wilson player prop. Okay. Oh, yeah, I really stepped out on a limb. Well, she hadn't gone over that total in a few games. And the reason being, it was matchups of who she was playing and who was matching up against her defensively. Last night, Dallas doesn't have somebody to match up against her inside, plus the fact she hadn't been going to the foul line. I put in my analysis yesterday that after Tuesday night's game, when they had to actually restrain Becky Hammon, who went after the referees because they only went to the foul line a total of 8 times in that game, that there was going to be a tight whistle last night. And I said, if there is a tight whistle, which I expect, plus the dominance she has inside, she's going to be in the 30s in that game. Well, she went to the foul line 9 or 10 times in the game, and we scored 32. We had our player prop over in the third period. You just have to understand the game and the matchups. And, it's not a basis on season averages.